Okay, shalom, shalom. Kwam Yashala. Kul Halor Yahweh, Bahashim Yahushai, Bahashim Wadash. Double honors to our apostles and to our elders, a great millstone that by the Spirit taught us this truth and that rule well. I just want to say throughout to all you Akim and Akwa that's out here sincerely keeping the law, statutes, and commandments of Yahweh Bahashim Yahushai to the best of their ability. Is Chanan Nawah is coming at you with another quick lesson. Pray that it's edifying by the Spirit. And just wanted to do a quick lesson on this vax requirement, and it's been going on quite a bit. You've been hearing about quite a bit of stories, and mainly it's with Esau, Edom, the so-called white people. I haven't really heard of any stories of any Jake or so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans being, not being able to see their children because they haven't, rolled up their sleeve. So I've seen plenty of stories though with Esau. And you know what? I mean, you reap what you sow, first off, because there's plenty of situations where Jake has not been able to see their children because of these so-called white people, man. And number one, slavery. When you were put on those auction blocks, or, you've been on a slave plantation, you might have been together for a while, 10 years. Your child grew up to be, 10 years old, 8, 9, 10, whatever amount of time, age period that they were selling the children, and they'll bust that whole family up. Send the dad to one plantation, send the mom to one plantation, and send the little girls and the little boys to separate plantations, and never even meeting up again, never even knowing who their family were. So when we see stories like this, we don't give a shit, man. We don't care, man. You know what I'm saying? We actually applaud this. So let's get a little bit of this.
A unique case in Ionia County involving the COVID vaccine and a parent's right to see their child.
News 8's Jacqueline Francis is at the live desk with this story that you'll only see on 8. Jacqueline?
Brian and Sue, the court says while reasonable minds may differ on COVID-19 protocols, including the decision to get vaccinated, the child's health issues in this case made it relevant for them to get involved. The judge saying the father and all those around the child must be vaccinated to see him. It's been over a year since Roy Fowler has seen his son.
Pretty much lived his life just like he done every other day, but except, couldn't see me because it wasn't safe.
Well, how was that to your life then?
Miserable.
The 6-year-old boy who lives in Grand Rapids with his mom has a rare genetic disorder that makes him especially vulnerable to COVID-19. This time last year, he was in critical condition at Helen DeVos Children's Hospital after contracting the virus. He was released 2 weeks later and hasn't seen his father since. His mom asking the court for a change in parenting time, testifying to her concerns about Roy's attitude towards COVID-19 protocols. An Ionia County judge ruling in her favor.
I have to be vaccinated, and everybody that he comes in contact with has to be vaccinated.
Are you vaccinated?
Yeah.
But his wife, the child's stepmom, is not, making their home off limits.
I have to either exercise parenting time somewhere else, or she has to leave.
It's just absolutely unworkable.
Roy's attorney says he's never seen anything like it, referring to the order signed last month by Judge Suzanne Krieger.
And I'll quote, the defendant shall provide verification to the plaintiff, and Roy, here's the defendant, a fully vaccinated status of himself and anyone else who will be regularly present with the minor child.
The order also requires Roy to ensure his son and all those around him wear masks while outside of the home. What do you think your son thinks about all this?
I talked to him on the phone. He says, I love you, I miss you, when can I come over?
Roy says his wife is considering getting the shot. But even so, there's no getting back the lost time with his son. Is that something you think about a lot?
Yeah.
Yesterday, the father filed to appeal the order, the judge telling us it'd be inappropriate to speak about an ongoing case, the child's mother also declining to comment. At the live desk, Jacqueline Francis, News 8.
I am blind, Okay, and there you have it. I'm not going to get all off into it. We're not going to talk about anything medical as far as this goes. These people don't want you even kicking it about nothing like that. The point that I'm trying to make here is matter of fact, let me get Galatians 6 and 7. We'll just let the scriptures do the talking, man. And it reads, be not deceived. Yahweh is not mocked. For whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap. In the NLT, it says, don't be misled. You cannot mock the justice of Yahweh. You will always harvest what you plant. Now, this guy's, he can't see his children, but that's going on quite a bit with these Edomites, man. These Edomites, and that's the biblical name for the so-called white man. That's their biblical name. There's no such thing as white people. They're actually pinkish to reddish in color. They came up with those social constructs, around 1680, I think. They gave Negroes black, which means void of light, like you're just death. You're not capable of being spiritual. You're just dusty. You're dirty. You're blackballed, blacklisted, black market, everything that's got something to do with negativity. And that's the reason why they placed that black constructive, they placed that name on us like that. But they're not actually white. They're actually Edomites. But they are reaping what they've sown for so long. The tables are starting to turn on them as a nation. See, this is an individual man, but the Lord deals with nations. Let's see if I can find this one scripture. He deals with nations and he deals with individual men that are within those nations. What is that? Salaki, I know it's in Job. I think it's 34:9. Yep. 34:29. Yep. Job 34:29. When he giveth quietness, and this is talking about Yahweh, which the world ignorantly calls God, Allah, and Jehovah, and Yahweh, and all these names. His name is Yahweh, which means that he exists or he is to be in Paleo Hebrew. That's the real name of the Father. When he giveth quietness, who then can make trouble? And when he hideth his face, who then can behold him? Whether it be done against a nation or against a man only. See, Yahweh is in control of nations. He's in control of those individual men, women, and children within those nations. Just like he sent us into slavery as a nation of people, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans, which are the children of Israel. It's the same way he deals with every nation like that. He just so happened to use the white race, so-called white race, which is Esau, Edom, to punish us for what we done because we didn't keep the law, statutes, and commandments and broke our end of the covenant that we made with him when we came out of Egypt with Moses. That goes back to the curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28. If you read through the Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 1 through 68, I think verse 1 through 14, it lets you know what will happen if you obeyed Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. If we did, we'd be on top, we be, the lenders and not the borrowers. We'll be the head, not the tail, so to speak. But if you read down, from 15, it talks about the curses if we didn't keep those law, statutes, and commandments and broke the covenant. So we made a blood covenant with Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai. And I don't want to compare it to a gang, but like even in America, if you get, you make a blood jump in with a gang, basically, they kind of like, hey, once you get in here, hey, you're in here, man. If you come in this boy, you know what I'm saying? By blood, they'll do a blood sacrifice, so to speak, on their, even on a physical carnal level. So what about Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai? You'll sign contracts with a car company, house payment, house, whatever. If you're trying to get a house loan, contracts with the bank, contracts with, whoever right here on this planet physically. But when it comes to Yahweh, people just thinking that they can just say whatever they want to. And the scriptures talks about making vows to Yahweh and not keeping them. That's very, very dangerous, man. Keep your mouth shut. If you make, instead of making a vow to Yahweh, like, I'm going to do this, Yahweh, if you do this for me, and you don't keep your end, you best believe he requires what it is that you vowed, man. Especially if he's done his part, you can do vows, but the scriptures actually says that it's best that you don't, in a sense, roughly paraphrasing. So either way, what I wanted to bring out is the Lord, he deals with nations and he deals with individual men, and he's dealing with the nation of Edom for what they've done to the children of Israel. It's just like they got this huge opioid problem. They're dying off quicker than they're being born problem. But like I said, see this right here, he's sitting there acting with them crocodile tears. He probably don't care. And then when you really think about it, I mean, everybody that his son comes in contact with, or his cousins, he can't meet his cousins. He can't meet his aunties, his uncles. a distant cousin. You know, I mean, I'm wondering, you know, did the judge make the order that, you know, for everybody that, so everybody, when he goes to the supermarket, or if he, like, I'm assuming she's leaving him at home by herself, if she has to go to the supermarket, or, you know, everybody in the supermarket got to have, you know, by her order, the judge's order, they have to be, you know, have the shot before her son can stroll her away through the supermarket. So you see how they getting down. And also, you know, I'm gonna end out with this, because this is really what it's all leading up to. Because if you notice that I think they're kind of breaking it down a little bit. The police then got involved with these protesters over here in Ottawa, Ontario, or Windsor, basically, at the Canadian border. But all this stuff is bubbling down to Revelations 13 and 16, man. And I seen a brother, he just put up a video regarding we call it the MOTB, because of course you can't say certain words on here now, you know, but it's got to do with, you know, I'll say they want to put a goddamn PlayStation in you, or they want to put an Xbox in you, so to speak. You know, they want to put a potato chip or a chocolate chip. You know, you get what I'm saying? Cookie in you. You see, that's what it's all boiling down to. And they've done their you know, pretty much with this thing that's been going on with this COV, is they've done their data. They got their data now. They know who's gonna be basically going for it and who's not. You see, I'm not, like I said, I'm not gonna speak too much into it, because I've already lost I've lost plenty of channels this year dealing with that subject. But it don't matter anymore. We pretty much know what it is. We've gotten down to the bulk of it. Revelations 13 and 16 is what it's all boiling down to. And this is one of the last main prophecies of the scriptures. And he calls it all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. See? And they've been implementing a lot of this stuff on the low. A lot of this stuff in certain places right now you still can't go, and especially in other countries. See, it hasn't hit Babylon the Great yet. Yeah, they've already Salakia. I had to stop it real quick, pause it. But they're already, you know, doing their thing over there in Canada, man. They're trying to break that down to keep, because it's stopping up all the trade. It's a lot of trade that comes through those countries. You know, a lot of trade, man. A lot of that economic effect then kicked in. So now the police are out there with the yellow vest on, trying to get rid of these people. Like, hey, man, y'all got to go. But, you know, you got a little pushback. And of course, you already know. If those truckers were so-called black people, that'd have been done day one, our first hour of. You see? But, which reminds me, let me get one more, and it's going to be in the Apocrypha. And these are the things that we look forward to. These are the things we pray for. I'm already here. Ecclesiasticus, also known as the Book of Sirach in the Apocrypha, chapter 25 and verse 7. And it reads, there be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy. And the 10th I will utter with my tongue, a man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemies. And we're living in real time seeing the fall of our enemies. You see? And you got some Jake that you know, and it's sad, but it is what it is, man. I mean, that's just the curses that are amongst our people. When you come across them and they really believe that they're Americans, man. They can't see being slaves. They can't see being still in the hands of their kidnappers, man. They can't see it. They just tell you they'll fight with you worse than the so-called white people. The so-called white people don't even have to even lift a finger towards you. The so-called blacks are gonna handle that for them. Oh, massa, you know, that was a long time ago. Why y'all still picking on massa? You know, Jake would tell you quick. Hey, they'll fight with you about the American thing. Oh, I'm American. My dad went to Desert Storm. My great granddad was in World War II. Who gives a shit, man? They went for being fools. They went. But anyway, that's a whole nother subject. But as you can see, this right here is becoming real. You see what I'm saying? And it's going on quite a bit. They're not talking about it. You know, this is going on state to state. I've seen a few stories like this, and a lot of it is more likely she's a woman scorned. because she's probably jealous of this man's wife, basically. Because if you notice, he's saying that he's vaccinated. So I don't even understand why he's sitting there and they're fucking crying. If it's all about him and his children, go and see your son. You vaccinated. Take him somewhere. Rent you a hotel or whatever you got to do to spend your weekend or whatever with him. What is your wife, his stepmom, got to do with it? Because obviously she don't want to get the jabby. You see what I'm saying? But I mean, I get where he's coming from, where everybody, but hey, when it comes straight down to it, that's your child, man. Go and check him out. Let everybody else know he's good. You know, everybody in the family, not Uncle Joe and Auntie Sarah, and everybody got to get the damn jabby jab just to see your son. Like, yeah, I get it, but still, come on, man. Nah, you got to work that out. But in the meanwhile, like I said, we're not sad about that, man, because they broke up so many Negro families, man. So any Jake sitting around here, and there's plenty of people, I'm sure some niggas in the comments talking about how bad that is, how sad that is. Get out of here, man. Anyway, though, I just wanted to just bring that out. So, hey, let's be circumspect. Keep your head on a swivel. These types of stories, man, I know that it's a small thing, but in the meanwhile, you have to see the bigger picture of what's going on, because this is what's being formulated. It's being gradually formulated. Next thing you know, this will be full blown, man. They already chopping it up, man. So, they're still doing hookups with your jobs and stuff where you have to be fully, roll your sleeve up how many ever times they said that you should, just to just keep your damn job. I'm going through that right now. You see? So I'm gonna have to see what's up with that with my little job. Hey, it may be time to put in them 2 weeks. Them 2 weeks notice on their asses, man. But meanwhile, hey, we're gonna ride this out to the end, man, because we know that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is the one that takes care of us, man. He's our source. He's the one that feed us and clothe us and house us, man. So when it comes down to the so-called white man, they don't have nothing to do with what's going. They have no idea that it's the Lord feeding, clothing, and housing they dumbasses. So with that, I pray that the lesson was edifying. Kwam Yashala.